So we had a lot of clinicians, we had technicians, we had manufacturers, all kind of giving, some of the cutting edge docs out there that have been kind of like, kind of on the bleeding edge, we'll call it right now, kind of the digital denture stuff. Just kind of showing us where it's going, what's in the pipeline, what's currently available right now. I said this literally probably like about 2 weeks ago. I said, we're a long ways away from scanning edentulous patients. First speakers right out of the gate, they're talking about scanning edentulous patients. A couple of father-son, Dr. Goodacres out of I don't know which university it is. They've been experimenting, playing with it to see what you can and can't do, what the challenges are coming. So that was very interesting to see that, but that's probably not as far away as what I thought, because they're discovering the challenges, and then they're coming up with their solutions to deal with those particular situations. And their biggest challenge is the mandibular impression. Upper was pretty straightforward, just scanning an edentulous upper, but the lower was more of a challenge there. So that was pretty interesting to see that. The different methods that are out there, there's quite a few different manufacturers out there that have their own different approach on how to do digital dentures, but right now it all starts with good impression, good bite registration. So one of the technicians, you probably have heard of Lee Culp before, but he's been playing with that a little bit. He works with Ivoclar on that end. And he made it a point that, I don't want my doctors to have to do a big change to go to digital, because I'm getting my impressions, my bite blocks, that kind of stuff. I don't want them to have to invest and learn a whole new technique at this point to get into the digital denture aspect. There are some proprietary impression taking systems out there for some various manufacturers on how they proceed. So a lot of it comes really down to the laboratory process. Some of them are actually, I saw one system that's very interesting. It's basically, it's a two-step process: final impression and delivery. That was, when I first saw it marketed a couple of years ago, I kind of poo-pooed it. Not a big fan of it. But then I saw one clinician who's really been working with this company out of Germany to help them develop and refine the process. And once I saw him speak, it's like, it's pretty interesting. Like everything in dentistry, it all has its limitations. And it doesn't fit every patient or every clinician. So, and all those systems kind of fit the same bill too. It's like, it's not a one size fits everybody type thing. So there's some actual, cases being produced out there. Some of you might be familiar with Avident out there. They're out of Arizona, I believe. They have a proprietary system that is actually interesting. I might want to try and play with a couple of dentures from them. It is a process that, again, starts with the physical impressions. The laboratory actually scans the model, sends it to Avident, and they design the denture, sends it back for us and you, the clinicians, to kind of approve the virtual setup. And off of that, you can go one of two ways. You can make a 3D print or mill a Trine appliance, and then they can go to finish, or they can go right to finish off the initial design if you feel good about the impressions, the bite, and all that kind of stuff. So it was pretty interesting. It's still kind of the beta and the VHS thing out there right now. Eventually there's going to get a consensus of this is the way it's going to go. But everybody agreed that 3D printing is going to be the player in manufacturing digital dentures. I talked to some people I know at Stratasys. They actually have printers right now that have 5 heads in the printer. So they can put multiple different materials in there in colors and shades. So you can design your denture, and it'll start printing the different colors for the different layers that you need to achieve the tooth color and the tissue color all in one print. So that was pretty interesting there. But everybody, even manufacturers, clinicians, and technicians all said, we're just waiting for the materials. The print technology's there, we're waiting for the materials to be more acceptable. Right now it's not quite there, so everything's based on milling right now. Whether you're milling just a base and inserting stock denture teeth, or if you're milling the base and the denture teeth and binding those together, that's kind of the process right now that everybody's working off of. Kind of basically one of those two methods right now. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts. It's still somewhat developmental, but there's some stuff that I kind of want to play around with a little bit here, just to kind of get our feet wet and get some traction in that a little bit. And we kind of like to be a little bit of an early adopter. We don't want to be in the bleeding edge, the leading edge. We'll let someone else bleed first and kind of cut the way a little bit, but then we don't want to be too far behind that either too. So that's kind of what we saw there. And again, I want to thank y'all for coming out. If you want to stay around, hang around, wander around the lab a little bit. Upstairs is Crown Bridge. Down here is removable. Like I said, the lab's been completely restored, remodeled, and added on top to bottom. So, you know, we're kind of proud of our place here. And if you got any other questions, you can just, you know, we can take you off the side and help you. Thank you much.